All right, there we go. And we are live. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Pastrami Nation podcast. We are the meat of pop culture. My name is Nolan Smith, and joining me today, we have a whole host of people. So, first off, we got fellow co founder of Pastrami Nation, Jason Smith.
Hi, everybody.
We have our entertainment editor, Kevin Hoskinson.
Hey, guys.
We have one of the longest reigning reviewers for Pastrami Nation, Mr. Daniel Schwartz.
Hey.
And we have a guest today, one of our reviewers who does a lot of gaming reviews. We have Noble Morris.
What's up, everybody?
So we have a fun episode today. We're going to be giving away some cool things, and let's go ahead and talk about that first. So with every episode, you have your chance to win a Pastrami Nation combo courtesy of Apollo Burger in Victorville. Pastrami Nation is a massive sandwich with grilled cheese buns, green pepper, pastrami. You got to try it. So this is your chance to win a combo of that, but you could also win this. Let me share the screen right now. We'll be giving away 2 Marvel Legends Webman figures.
Oh, wow.
How cool is that, right? I mean,
can I win that?
No.
Can I just win it for being here? No.
No. You just sign off real quick.
Yeah.
So all you have to do is for this, put in your list of your Spider-Man films. So rank them from number 1 all the way down, and count Spider-Verse.
Yes.
So rank your Spider-Man movies and pop them in, so that way we can discuss it. That's what we're going to be talking about today. Let me share this all across the internet really quick. And while I'm doing this, if you're an Aaron Bartling fan and you're a fan of that last Ronin cover that came out that blew everybody away, that had the spirit turtles behind them, there was another one for the most current issue with the spirit Splinter behind them.
Yes.
Cool.
Oh,
And
that's cool.
It's up right now. If you go to Wicked Gator, go give it a shot. I know it's been going in and out, so give it a shot. It was a shock drop by Aaron. Aaron's a fantastic guy.
I got one.
He did some amazing work. So go check that out. But don't close us. Open another tab. Okay. All right. There we go. Well, hold on. Let me share that one more time. And today we are talking Spider-Man. So we're building up to No Way Home. No Way Home comes out next week. And it's it shattered records at the box office.
Yeah.
And it shattered the Cinemark app.
It shattered all the apps.
It was nuts.
Well, I guess they were trying to go for shattered multiverse, so I guess they decided to shatter the internet as well, right?
So they did pretty good then, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what we're going to do today, we're going to rank our Spider-Man movies. And we're going to count the Tobey Maguire movies, Andrew Garfield, Tom Holland, and Into the Spider-Verse. And this idea is brought to you by our entertainment editor, Mr. Kevin Hoskinson. So I would like Kevin to go ahead and kick us off for this.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd love to. Thank you guys for, doing it. I think it's so much fun. So there's 8 movies total. So I'm going to kick off number 8. My least favorite. So I just want to clarify that none of these I absolutely despise 100%. I just think some are better than others. The worst Spider-Man I think ever put onto film for me is The Amazing Spider-Man 2, which I think is, I just don't understand how you get such a great cast, everyone is great in it, and it just kind of falls apart, overbloated. And I didn't connect with it at all, man. I just felt like it was kind of like they had to make a Spider-Man movie. Let's just do this thing. Let's just put these villains in here and see what happens. And I felt like that's what they did. And I just thought it was train wreck. I still like it. I still enjoy it. It has some good stuff about it. I thought the Gwen Stacy, there will be spoilers, by the way, for anyone who hasn't seen them. So the Gwen Stacy death scene I thought was pretty intense. I thought that was pretty cool. Emotionally, that's the only part I really connected with. Otherwise, it was just yeah, man, it was just there. So that's my number 8 pick, my bottom pick for ranking of the Spider-Man movies.
I concur with you.
Nice.
Yes. That was also my least favorite of them.
Very cool. Yeah, it just stalled. And like I said, that movie has such an amazing cast. You got Andrew Garfield, who's incredible, Jamie Foxx, Paul Giamatti, Emma Stone, and just like Dennis Leary, all these guys. And then it just crumbles. tanked hard.
I think one of the best parts of that movie was maybe Philip Phillips.
Yeah. Yeah.
Philip Phillips, isn't that he's also a country singer, right?
Yeah, he is something like that.
You go with me, that guy.
That guy.
Yeah, that wasn't good. That wasn't a good movie at all.
Yeah, no, not at all. Not at all.
I really wasn't a fan of either of those Andrew Garfield ones. I watched them; they were enjoyable, but like compared to the other Spider-Man movies, like no.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, absolutely. So yeah, that's my my least favorite Spider-Man movie. And are we just going to go by like our least favorites and then just kind of count down from there?
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Everybody give your number 8.
Yeah.
Kevin just gave mine.
Gave mine too.
Actually,
my number 8 is Spider-Man 3.
What about you, Daniel?
Ooh.
How could you, Daniel?
Ooh.
Oh, it's hard.
Okay.
They try to stuff too much into one
Let me
thing.
turn this share screen off.
And I love the original.
Mine's different.
Tobey Maguire.
My number
movies.
8 is different.
I love the original Tobey
it's
Maguire
Spider-Man
movies,
3.
What?
But
Yep.
he just
Spider-Man 3 is dead last
no
for me.
chemistry between him and
that was hard because it's a Tobey Maguire Spider-Man. Like he's the best Spider-Man in my eyes.
Yeah,
you know?
it's just it was hard to see.
It was
the
just
whole,
hard to watch, and it was a crappy Venom.
where he has the
and it gave
the
us
dance
emo
meme
Parker.
and the whole hairdo and everything was just kind of rough. And trying to squeeze 3 villains into an hour and a half, 2 hours was just too much. And it was hard because my favorite villain is Venom. And they actually get him in there, but they just make him really cornball kind of Topher Grace overacting, and it was rough. So that was my number 8. I think maybe because they just slaughtered my favorite bad guy and did not make him look good.
So what was your number 7, Dan?
Then it would be Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Thank you.
Yeah, I had no idea.
Yeah, so
looks like Nolan got disconnected.
Yeah, Nolan got disconnected. But we'll keep going since we went. Nolan's number 8 was also Spider-Man 3. I believe that's what he said, correct?
Mm-hmm.
My number 7 is actually Spider-Man 3, which is right below Amazing Spider-Man 2. I love Sam Raimi. I'm a huge Sam Raimi fan, and the Spider-Man, we'll get into it a little bit later, but I feel like his trilogy, as flawed as part 3 was, it still had personality and it still had his fingerprints all over it, which I thought was pretty cool. The Venom stuff didn't work for me either, but I watched it again the other day. I watched it again the other night, and it actually wasn't as horrible as I remember it being, but it was still pretty awful. So Spider-Man 3, my number 7 choice. Oh, what about you guys?
My number 7's got to be the first Amazing Spider-Man, the one with the lizard. Like,
oh, okay.
I mean, enjoyable movie, but still, like, I don't know. It just, those Andrew Garfield Spider-Mans didn't do it for me at all,
Mm-hmm.
Like, I felt like Lizard could have been done a lot better,
Oh, yeah.
So, I think for me, it would definitely be Spider-Man 3 for number 7. I only say because, like you had said, Sam Raimi really established his own universe and how he designed his universe to be. So we kind of knew what we were expecting, and it was the only movie other than the now Spider-Mans that had a third movie at that time.
Yeah.
As far as the Spider-Man stuff, so it was good enough to get a third film. But I mean, if we know the background of the Amazing Spider-Man 2 and everything, that whole production was a train wreck. So it's sad to say. I think the only thing I really did like out of the Amazing Spider-Man 2 was the suit.
Oh, the suit was amazing. Yeah.
The suit was good. and then I would say, Spider-Man 3 would be number 7, just one step up. And then,
Right.
But I think I actually really liked the black suit in that one.
The black suit was amazing.
I think it looked good, and I think, despite the emo Parker, I think they captured. Yeah, aside from his little dance number and his little bar scene and all that, I think they really captured the essence of what the black suit really did to him. So, as crammed in as it was, I think that one was maybe just a little bit more of a step above Amazing Spider-Man 2, because Amazing Spider-Man 2 it fell really flat for me. Like I said, the only thing I think that was really good out of that one was probably this, like I said, the suit, and then the Gwen Stacy death portion.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. What about you, Daniel? Did you already go over your number 7? I think he's frozen too.
He's sleeping on it.
Frozen too. So I think we did get his number 7. If I'm not mistaken, I thought he said it was Amazing Spider-Man 2 because his number 8 was Spider-Man 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll catch up with them when they get back on. Yeah, there he goes.
They went to the Spider-Verse.
What's that?
They went to the Spider-Verse.
This live stream was not supposed to happen. The darn multiverse is breaking.
Doctor Strange did it.
We're doing our best here, guys. It's awesome. So my number 6 is actually the Amazing Spider-Man, the first one, Andrew Garfield, and kind of for the same reasons as you, Jason. It just didn't. Neither one of them really connected with me a little bit, but I felt like this one was a little bit better than Spider-Man 3 because it was kind of establishing its own new universe, and it was. I still feel like Andrew Garfield's an incredible actor, but I feel like he was an amazing Spider-Man. Like not so much Peter Parker, but I feel like the way he moved in the suit and the way he looked and the way he talked and just all the quips and he felt like a kid, you know what I mean? Like in a way, like he felt younger than Tobey at least. And I just thought there was some playfulness to it too as well. But otherwise it fell flat for me too. I didn't care about the lizard. I didn't care about pretty much anything going on. I didn't like how they tried to shoehorn the whole backstory with it was with his dad or whatnot. I don't even recall. Like was it Uncle Ben that had some dealings with the Oscorp or I don't know. It was a big mess.
Yeah. I agree with you with that portion. We never really got a full resolution, or I'll even say it was like they teased the whole Norman Osborn thing in the first one and then the second one, and then we got like nothing. I don't really feel like there was a reason to even establish that if you weren't really going to go into it, other than him, getting bit by the spider or on the back of the neck, which was new. That thing on the back of his neck, that big old boil he had, was nasty.
That was gross. Yeah. I remember seeing that and I was like, ew, like that's not fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Amazing Spider-Man, my number 6.
Go ahead, Jason.
Number 6. So I already knocked off the 2 Amazing Spider-Mans. Honestly, like, I want to say my number 6 is got to be that one, the Tom Holland one with the vulture, like
Homecoming.
Yeah, that one, Homecoming. It was good. It was a good movie, but there's other Spider-Man movies that I liked a lot better. Like I like Michael Keaton as the Vulture, but at the same time, like, like it was all right for me. It was a good movie, but it was just eh.
Yeah, no.
That was the one where they teased the Scorpion in there, right? With that guy from Breaking Bad.
They did tease the Scorpion in that. I forgot about that.
Yeah, that just kind of went away. We didn't see anything about that in No Way or Far From Home. I thought it was building towards that. And speaking of Far From Home, we'll move on to our number 5, and mine is Far From Home. I'm starting to so I'm super excited for No Way Home. Like No Way Home is like it's whatever. It's going to be amazing. But I do feel like the MCU has a Spider-Man problem wherein they're using the legacy of other characters to tell Spider-Man's story. and Far From Home, as soon as they got to the real like Mysterio and who he was and what was going on, it was an Iron Man movie, and it just was like it's Iron Man but with a different suit, the Spider-Man suit, and I just didn't care. Like I was expecting a Spider-Man story, like yeah, it was Spider-Man, but it didn't feel like a Spider-Man story. So that's how I feel like Far From Home, and to me. I know this one's petty, but Spider-Man needs to be in New York, flying through the streets of New York, fighting bad guys in New York, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
Not to say that he can't go anywhere else, but you save that for like the Infinity War when he goes up into space, or like some other Avengers movie or some other, superhero movie where where he's part of it. Have him go overseas, wherever, France or Italy. But yeah, that's my pick for number 5.
Okay.
For the Spider-Man things, and Daniel's back, so we should go back to his.
Yes,
I don't think we got to your number 6, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, yeah, you heard my number 7, which was Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Number 6. Okay, so I think the order we've had it right now has been Amazing Spider-Man 2, Spider-Man 3. I think I'm kind of with Jason on Homecoming, because I actually did enjoy Far From Home a little bit more than I did Homecoming. Homecoming was good. I enjoyed it. I think Homecoming felt more like a Peter Parker movie, and I feel like we got to learn who Peter Parker was a little bit more, and he had a little bit of elements of Spider-Man in there. But I think I would say Homecoming would be number 6 for me personally.
Cool. And what was your number 6, Daniel?
Mine was Far From Home.
Okay.
I just I like it. It's just it was hard to follow the story. Like everyone knows Mysterio's the bad guy, so you're just waiting for him to surprise. I'm the bad guy after all.
Right.
But I think if you watch the honest trailer on it, it kind of gets it right. They rename it the Boy Who Knew Iron Man. Is kind of what they renamed the whole movie, and it pretty much sums it up. Which is too bad because it's he's already in an established universe. There's a lot they can do there, and they kind of just stick with mourning Tony Stark for half the movie. Right. Exactly. I did like the Amazing Night Monkey though.
The Night Monkey was great. The Night Monkey was great. And that was my number 5. I skipped ahead a little bit. I apologize, guys. So, Jason, what is your number 5?
Number 5. Let's see.
I'll grab a pen real quick.
What did I have? I had number 6 pegged as the Michael Keaton.
Number 6 was Homecoming, yeah.
Number 5 had to have been probably Far From Home. Like I loved it. Great movie. Loved Mysterio. Just I don't know. It didn't like compared to the other Spider. Call me a nostalgia guy, No. But those first 3 Spider-Man movies like did it for me,
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
it was good. I love Tom Holland. I love Jake Gyllenhaal as Mysterio. It's just the way they did it were I don't know. It was good, but it wasn't like the Tobey Maguire-esque Spider-Man.
Right. Exactly. No, I feel you on that one. It didn't feel like a Spider-Man movie.
Once he had his cast of like all his people start clapping and stuff, while it was cool, it's like, kind of silly,
Right. Exactly. So I think Noble, what was your number 5?
Number 5. Sorry, I'm writing it all down. This was stuff I should have done earlier. Let's see. It was amazing. It was Amazing 2, and then let's see, it was 8, 7, 6. Okay, so you said number 5, right?
Yeah, correct.
I'll be honest. This is probably going to be uncommon opinion or frowned upon, but I might actually have to say the first Spider-Man with Tobey Maguire. Okay. I'm only saying that only because it's like I think from here we're only getting to the good stuff.
Right.
So I think if there's one kind of going down on the list, I think Spider-Man 1 was amazing. It's what set the tone for what superhero movies could possibly be,
Exactly.
and not just be George Clooney goofball off the walls.
Right.
And I really feel like this movie with Danny Elfman doing the composing in the background, Sam Raimi's vision of what Spider-Man could possibly be, and honestly, without the first movie, we would not have J.K. Simmons as the iconic.
We would not.
J. Jonah Jameson.
We would not. I agree with that. It's so nice to see him back too.
Oh, I know, right?
Dude, it's amazing. So Daniel, what was your number 5?
By the way, I can't hear Daniel at all.
Homecoming. Kind of for the same reason. It's like it's good. It's a good kind of origin, and I do like the fact that they didn't kill Uncle Ben again. It's kind of nice.
Right.
But it was I like the fact that it's kind of him in high school, kind of where everyone started their Peter Parker journey, kind of going through the whole awkwardness of being Spider-Man. You kind of get to leave out the whole where he makes the suit, where he does the whole beginning. He's already Spider-Man. He's already into it. So it's kind of like you're in the sequel, but you didn't have to watch the origin story. So that's kind of nice. But yeah, just and I like Michael Keaton. He's amazing. It's just we're getting to a point now where you just got to pick out of your favorites, and I just like some of the other ones better.
Yeah, no, I feel you on that one. So my number 4 is so now we're moving on to number 4. My number 4 is actually the first Raimi Spider-Man. It's up there for all the reasons Noble was talking about. I love the iconic score, the setting up the world and everything. And it still, holds up pretty well. Some of it's a little bit dated, but it still works. I just thought it's perfectly cast. Like, it has a great cast, like you say, J.K. Simmons, but also Tobey and Kirsten and James Franco as Harry Osborn. I thought was great. Willem Dafoe is just terrifying. Upon rewatching them, though, I didn't realize just how horror tinged that whole trilogy is. And it starts with this one, with the kind of the dual personalities of the Goblin when he's in his mansion and he's talking to himself in the mirror and stuff. Like, some of it's actually like legitimately kind of like, it's Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde type stuff, which I thought was really, really cool. And it has that same Raimi touch to it. It's just dark, and we'll talk about that touch a little bit later when I get further down the list. But yeah, I had the first Raimi Spider-Man is my number 4 pick. So yeah, definitely. Jason, what's yours?
Also, the first Raimi Spider-Man.
Oh, cool. Yeah,
great movie. Like, that was like when we first had a legit superhero movie. I remember when that first came out. I got the 1989 Batman feels all over again. Like, wow, especially that part when Green Goblin comes through the.
Oh man, Green Lantern came through absolutely. That movie. Oh god,
remember when he came through and just killed those old guys? I'm like, wow,
yeah,
this is decent. This is legit. Great movie. It's just like you said. I agree. I like some of the other movies better than that, but not taking anything away from it,
No, not at all. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, what's yours, Noble?
So I think number 4 for me. I only say I think Amazing Spider-Man 1.
Okay.
Only reason why though is I think because I was in high school about that same time. So when the movie came out, I guess it was a little more relatable at that time. But you know what? I think I was able to picture myself in his shoes, being bullied, being a smart kid, but not fitting in with everybody.
Gotcha. I think Noble froze too.
He had to think about it for a minute. He's thinking about his high school days.
Right. Just go ahead and move on. Oh, are you back? You're back.
Yeah.
Back. You cut out for a minute. Cool.
Okay. You want me to start over?
Yeah, if you like. You were where were we at? Number 3, right? Or number 4?
4.
Yeah. And it was
Yeah.
Amazing Spider-Man. Yeah.
Yeah, Amazing Spider-Man 1 came out a little bit when I was in high school, so it was a little bit relatable, I think, at that time. But then I really liked how quippy he was, how agile he was. Little unpopular opinion, but you know what? I actually really enjoyed the homemade suit, the first one. The reason why is because it makes sense that a teenager could come up with something that goofy, but also it's a superhero on a budget.
Right.
So it's like, what can you do as a superhero that young and stitch something together? So that part was cool, and I really loved how agile he was. Just the whole feel of in the movie. I know when they had the teaser when it first came out, we got to see him running, and then he's like, it's like all a first person view, and he's sliding around, and then he swings and then jumps toward the camera, and I know it blacks out. And it was the first time, I think, for myself, I was like, so that's what it kind of feels like to be Spider-Man. And I remember watching the first one in IMAX.
Nice. Did you guys just real quick, since we were just talking about it, do you guys remember the first teaser trailer for the Raimi Spider-Man?
With the World Trade Center?
The World Trade Center and stuff?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Like, that's wild, man. Anyways, I
The
just
one they
watched
took
it again.
down after 9/11?
Yeah, they had to take it out of theaters and everything after 9/11. Like, it's still a cool trailer. Like, I watched it the other day.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually a really cool, like, kind of just lets you, it doesn't give away too much, just kind of shows you exactly what you need to know for a new Spider-Man movie. So Daniel, what was yours? What's your number 4?
So yeah, I happen to agree. My number 4 is Amazing Spider-Man number 1 too.
Okay.
Yes, they do kill Uncle Ben. It had to happen, I guess. But I liked. It's actually for me, it was one of the first superhero movies I got to see with my son.
Oh, nice.
And so that kind of that holds a special place for me. But it was just I don't know. It just kind of, after watching Spider-Man 3 and kind of how that crashed and burned, getting kind of a fresh new start. He is a bit of like they said, kind of like an emo Spider-Man kind of vibe going. But I'm a big Reese Ivins fan.
Yeah.
I thought towards the end when he was really trying to fight being the Lizard and getting kicked out of the office and everything, he was pretty creepy. He was a little scary there. So like I just liked the whole performance in there, and then that scene on the rooftop with him and Emma Stone where he reveals that he's Spider-Man was just kind of spot on. And you can feel they actually have chemistry, like, well, because they're dating, so that helps. But they really had chemistry, and that whole scene was just really cool. So that's my number 4.
Awesome. It's a great pick. So my number 4, something we just got done talking about, Spider-Man Homecoming. I had my number 3, Spider-Man Homecoming. I was okay with having Tony Stark in this one. I thought he was just going to pass the torch and everything was going to be good, and we are going to, move on to the next hero. It was going to be Spider-Man from here on out. There wasn't going to be much of the legacy stuff anymore. It was just going to be over. So I was okay with Tony Stark being in this one to kind of set up everything and then leave. But he didn't, obviously, Far From Home. We had some of the legacy stuff. Well, he did, but I thought Homecoming was really well done. I think Tom Holland is a really, really good Spider-Man. I think he's a great Peter Parker too. He's kind of a good combination of both. And I think they kind of nailed it with the casting, and everyone's really great. I really like Zendaya as MJ. I thought that was fantastic. Michael Keaton, of course, the Vulture. Michael Keaton. He's great. And it really had that kind of like, Peter Parker was a kid in this one. Like he looks like a kid. Like he's a kid. He's a teenage kid. And I legitimately wanted to, I cared about, being a dad. I'm like, I legitimately cared about this kid. And I thought that was really well done, because we hadn't really seen that in the movies yet, like the high school, really young version of Spider-Man.
If I can add something to that, man.
Yeah.
The scene where in Homecoming, the part where he's, collapsed under all the rubble and everything from the building.
Yes.
That scene, I don't know if there was any dry eyes in the theater during that scene, because he wasn't Spider-Man at that point. He was just a kid.
Yeah.
He was a scared kid, and he's like, I don't know what to do.
Mm-hmm.
I'm terrified. I don't have anybody, an adult, someone who I care about, somebody who cares about me to save me. And he's like, all right, come on, Spider-Man. Come on, Spider-Man. And he lifts that. It's an iconic moment.
It is.
And I think that's one of the real big standout moments of that movie that just cements it, that Tom Holland is not just a good actor, but he's a great Spider-Man.
Oh, Absolutely. And I think, yeah, that scene specifically, I remember watching that and just my anxiety shooting up and being like, gotta save this kid. Like, I just want him to be okay. And I think that's part of its thing is like, you legitimately just want him to be okay. Like, it's just that kind of that instinct there. So Spider-Man Homecoming, my number 3. Jason, what's yours?
My number 3 is actually Spider-Man 3,
Okay.
Tobey Maguire. A lot of people hate that one, and I wasn't a fan of the emo Spider-Man look, but that movie gave us Sandman, which was totally badass. Like I like that whole arc in there. Venom, I didn't have a problem with him. He could have been done better as the symbiote. Topher Grace didn't do a horrible job, but to me, Sandman stole that movie. Just what's that? Thomas Hayden Church.
Yeah, he's
great
fantastic.
actor. Perfect Sandman. That whole scene where he's going to visit his daughter, and then like he's this convict, and just how they show him turn into Sandman. It's like, wow, one of my favorite Sinister Six characters is brought to life on this movie. And the way they did him was so badass, like even when he met Venom in that alley and Venom comes crawling up the wall, he just like turns that giant fist and punches him. Like, what could you do to Sandman, right?
That's true.
No, absolutely. And that's the thing. Yeah, exactly. Well, that's the thing with that movie. Like, I don't think it's as bad as people, give it. I recently rewatched it, and it wasn't as bad as I remember it being. And I think it was just the environment, around the movie when it came out. I remember people were just losing it because it was the worst thing they've ever seen, and on this and that and whatever. And,
they haven't seen Amazing Spider-Man 2 yet, I guess.
Yeah, no, and it was like, it was like the beginning days, not the beginning days of the internet, but when it was still kind of becoming a thing. And like, you had all these chat rooms, chat boards and everything about Spider-Man 3 being like the worst thing that's ever happened to their life. Their childhood is ruined. Their life is ruined, all this stuff. And I remember watching it and actually thinking it was okay. I didn't love it, but after like sitting back and watching it again, it's not bad.
Well, the same people that are bashing Spider-Man 3 are the same people that hate the Phantom Menace, Like,
oh yeah,
that was good,
Absolutely. No, definitely. Phantom Menace has its charms too. Absolutely. Daniel, what's your number 3?
Number 3 for me would be the first Tobey Maguire Spider-Man.
Okay.
That was, again, like for the same reason you guys were talking about, the first like legit Marvel hero movie. You always, all growing up in the 80s and the early 90s, all you got was Batman and Superman movies. And you kind of think those are the only heroes out there. So when you get a legit Spider-Man movie, it's a big deal. And I think I probably watched it about 25 times when it first came out. So, I mean, I was a big fan, just seeing him in live action for the first time. The only thing that was kind of a downer for me was actually Kirsten Dunst. I don't know if it was the writing. They kind of make her character tough to love because she's like hot and cold about Spider-Man, and
she's a really
it's kind of it's a little rough, but like overall, just it's a fun movie. He gets to fight the Green Goblin. Obviously, Willem Dafoe is amazing, and just the whole. It's just one of my favorite movies. I still have in my Marvel section of my shelf.
Right.
Nice.
Yeah, dude. It's a great start to that trilogy. So now we're on to our number 2s. My number 2 is Into the Spider-Verse. Oh, did you go? Yeah, you went.
I don't think I said my number 3 yet.
Oh, you didn't say your number 3. I do apologize. Go ahead.
You're good, man. We mentioned it a little earlier in a couple of you guys' picks, but mine real quick. I'll make it real brief. Far From Home, actually.
Oh, okay.
I really enjoyed Far From Home. I think because there was more stuff at stake, I feel like, in that movie than there was maybe in the first movie. It wasn't really a passing of the torch at this point. It was Tony Stark is gone. You have nobody to shepherd you. So now what do?
Right.
You need to take up the mantle as the superhero and be Spider-Man rather than Spider-Kid. So I think it felt. I think for me personally, I think Far From Home felt a little bit more a little bit more, not humanized, but it felt like he really had to take on more responsibility as a superhero.
Right.
And I think the biggest, we all know this, the biggest thing that Tony Stark, that Peter Parker has to deal with is dealing with being a superhero and wanting to live a normal life. He can't
Right.
do it.
Right.
And I think Tom Holland really has showed us that Peter Parker's struggle as a young adult is, he says, I just want to be a normal kid. I just want to be the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. And he's with, Nick Fury, and then he's with
Right.
Quentin Beck, and he's having to take on this possible multiverse at the time, and he's just like, I just want to be friendly neighborhood Spider. I just want to go back to Queens, enjoy my time on my little trip to
Right.
school, and he's like, why can't I just be just this superhero, like a local superhero,
Right.
and I feel like that's kind of the biggest thing that gets overlooked sometimes during that movie, is the fact that Peter Parker has to decide whether he's going to be a superhero or whether he's going to be Peter Parker, and whether he's going to choose to do the right thing or whether he's going to sit back and let somebody else do it because he knows there's other people.
Right.
So, like you said, it does have a couple of parts where it's like, well, this doesn't really feel like
Right.
it's all centered around, New York, how it should, with Spider-Man being kind of a purist. But at the same time, I think Quentin Beck posed a challenge to him that you're either going to choose to be a hero or you're going to choose to not
Right.
be. And I think that there's no way to say that better than how the end of the movie happened.
Right.
So,
Oh, yeah.
And him being exposed, which is tying us all into No Way Home.
Mhm.
I feel like that kind of set a big bar. So now I know that all of us going into No Way Home, we have some pretty high standards.
Right.
And so that's basically my pick for a 3.
Cool. Yeah, no, I totally get all those points and they make sense. I like him stepping out of the shadow a little bit and deciding to become Spider-Man or Peter Parker.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's all. I mean, yeah, it gets me really excited for No Way Home. Like, oh man, like that end credit scene is just incredible.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, my number 2 is Into the Spider-Verse. I think Into the Spider-Verse is one of those movies that it truly is one of those movies that comes along once every like 20, 30 years, as weird as it sounds. Like the leaps, like the animation on a technical level, the animation itself is just incredible. Like, I don't know what I was expecting going into it, but it wasn't that. But that, I mean that in the best way possible. Like, it was the way, like, I don't think we've seen a leap like that since something like Toy Story came out with the CGI.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I feel like the amount of artistic know-how and everything behind this movie is just incredible. The story of Miles is just fascinating. I think having all the different Peter Parkers, Peter B. Parker is one of my favorite, Jake Johnson. I think he's amazing as Peter B. Parker.
Awesome.
You have the Spider-Gwen, Spider-Ham, Penny Parker, all these other, Spider-Man, which I thought was really cool. I thought Miles, his story of kind of self-discovery and becoming Spider-Man was just incredible. Like, I'm totally in awe of the movie. Like, just the emotional impact of it alone is just outstanding. It gets me every time. And just that simple saying, like, everyone can wear the mask, is like one of the most powerful things like I've ever seen in a long time in a superhero movie. Like, it makes, kids, adults, like anyone could be that hero. You just have to choose to do the right thing. Like, it's so simple, but so beautiful and just incredible. So I love that one. Number 2, Into the Spider-Verse. What is yours, Jason?
Mine is also Into the Spider-Verse. Great movie. The animation was just far superior to anything we've seen, and they give us all those different Spider-Men. They touched on all of that, and I really like how they put the Prowler into there, a character like the Prowler,
Yeah,
I mean,
that was really cool.
That was awesome. Great movie.
Yeah, and even like, I forgot to bring up Nicolas Cage as Spider-Man Noir. Like, that's just like Perfect.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
Noble, what's your number 2?
So far it's all the same. Into the Spider-Verse. It's, I think what stuck out to me during that film, animation, the actors behind the movie, the storytelling was so. Honestly, you felt like you were thrown into a comic book.
Yeah.
And the rest just played out. It was such an experience in the theater. And if they were to ever re-release that back in theater, I would love to watch that IMAX, because if there is any way to enjoy that movie, it's on the biggest possible screen you could see it in, because there's nothing like it. Everything from the jokes to the story to the quips to the the conflict that Miles has to go through. Kind of like you had said, he's becoming, one with his spider powers, but also coming to grips that he's a superhero now.
Yeah.
And being thrown into the multiverse like that. Jake Johns is just a fantastic Spider-Man. And I think if there was a good way to replace anyone as an animated Spider-Man, I think Jake Johns was a great pick, because he's got that kind of like lazy guy, but he can, serious up if he needs to. And I don't know if you guys are familiar with New Girl.
Absolutely.
And that's how I found out about him. And I knew once they had cast him for Spider-Man, I was like, oh yeah, he's going to do great. He's going to do really, really good.
Yeah. New Girl, he's amazing. And he's just one of those actors though that just kind of pops up and stuff, and he's amazing in everything he does.
It's true.
Yeah, so he was a perfect Spider-Man too. Daniel, what's your number 2?
So I think this is the first one where we're 4 for 4.
Nice.
It's also my number 2. So I have a feeling our number 1 might be similar.
I think it is. Yeah.
I mean, similar. The animations just blows your mind. I mean, I've never seen anything like that. I love the way they did the Kingpin. He's like truly feels menacing. Like he has no superpowers, but he will kill you in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
I love.
You just got me excited.
I honestly never thought I would see Spider-Ham on the screen.
Dude,
I thought he was going to always just be in the pages, and there he is on the screen, and I just got a huge kick out of that.
Peter Parker.
And it's always interesting to me too, if you look at the Marvel multiverse in the comics, as many times as they expand and detract and contracted, the most popular characters usually in those multiverses are the different versions of Spider-Man. I mean, all the main ones here you see in this movie. You got Spider-Man 2099, who looks like he's going to be featured pretty big in the sequel.
Yes.
You have Spider-Man India. I mean, you just have all these different versions of Spider-Man, and it seems like he's the most popular multiverse character. And it doesn't have to be that it's Peter Parker exactly. It's just the fact that kind of responsibility and power dynamic, anyone taking up that mantle, like they said, and running with it. So it's a really amazing movie.
Yeah, it really is.
Agreed.
I would actually love to see Spider-Man India in it, to be honest. I thought he looked really cool. His story was actually pretty. I actually really liked that one a lot. So it looks like we're gonna say something, Noble.
Yeah. I was actually going to say, I would, if they're going to be going, across the multiverse, like they said for the new Into Spider-Verse movie, I would like to see two specific Spider-Mans. We're already getting 2099, which was a Die Hard. I was totally hoping for that. But me personally, unpopular opinion, I'm a huge fan of the Superior Spider-Man. Very big fan.
That would be interesting. Hopefully they throw him in there.
Yeah, I would like to see him thrown. Yeah. Him and I'm forgetting the guy's name. But his name is it's Christopher something. I'm forgetting it right now. Anyway, he's the voice of the animated series Spider-Man. If they were able to shoehorn him somehow in there, I think it would be the perfect Spider-Man sequel.
That would be awesome. That would be great. Gosh, I can't wait. I know the new one, comes out October next year, I believe. Yeah. If I'm not mistaken. Part 1.
I think so.
So yeah, that'll be fun. So let's move on to our number 1. It looks like we are all on the same page. Looks like we are all
Japanese Spider-Man.
What's that?
Japanese Spider-Man, right?
Yep, we're done. Podcast over. See you guys later.
Peace.
Well, of course, we all know what it is. Spider-Man 2.
Right.
Absolutely.
Spider-Man 2 is a classic. There's two of my all-time favorite superhero movies are nowhere in the MCU official, at least not yet. And that is Amazing Spider-Man 2. Not that one. That was a Spider-Man 2 and The Dark Knight are like my two like all-time favorite superhero movies ever. And Spider-Man 2 is just I don't even know what to say about it because it's so great. You have Doc Ock, you have like that. Oh, I was talking about the tinges of horror in these movies. The scene in the hospital when he's got his tentacles, they're trying to fix him, and his tentacles come to life, and it just starts clobbering everybody. Like that's such a Sam Raimi moment that it just made me so happy, and like just everything about it, like the way the camera moves. For me, some of the fight scenes through New York were just incredible. Like the MCU hasn't given us that with Spider-Man just like fighting on rooftops and fighting through New York, which is something I love seeing. And Spider-Man 2 just did that. It did it incredibly well too. And
just the way he crawled up the walls,
it looked amazing.
That was just his human arms were just down to his side, and these tentacles were taking him up, and he just had that blank stare. Like that made Dr. Octopus cool, Like to take a villain like Dr. Octopus, who's kind of like that bullhead Elton John haircut, and then you give us the Alfred Molina Dr. Octopus, and you're like, wow, this guy's scary,
And it's got the the really good character drama too. It really does put the characters front and center. So it really is a you have the friendship between Peter and Harry, and you have the love triangle. Yeah, you have the love triangle between all of them, and then you have the dilemma between Spider-Man, Peter Parker, Mary Jane, and then you have the obviously the three-way thing with Harry, Peter Parker, and Spider-Man, because Harry hates Spider-Man, but Peter's his best. It just has a really great drama and at the core of it. And yeah, what do you guys think?
Good storytelling goes a really long way.
It does. It does, and it doesn't even matter.
Yeah, it's full evidence of that. You have this guy who's struggling to get to work, struggling to get to school, struggling to work a job, struggling to be a superhero, and then to top it all off, his powers are out of whack. And it's like, what more could go wrong?
Right.
So I mean, we all know what that's like. Our powers are never working right. Yeah. But it's Spider-Man 2 set the bar, and a lot of these movies suffer from sequelitis a bit. And this was one of the few movies, like Terminator 2, for example, or even Captain America: The Winter Soldier, that didn't just have a great first movie, but it transcended the first one.
Right. Yeah, that's how I feel about like the Dark Knight, for example. Dark Knight did that as well. It just transcended it and became its own thing and improved so much on the original. Like they were actually listening to the fans and like paying attention to what people liked about it. They were like, we'll give them more of that. We'll take away the stuff they didn't like as much. And here you go. Which I think is great.
And one of the things I really liked about it too was Dr. Octopus's story, where he he's a well-meaning scientist, and the arms, it took me a couple times watching to realize the arms are what take over and make him do the, kind of plant the seeds in his head that, hey, you need to do these terrible things to save the world, to make the world a better place. And then in the very end, I really like where he, fights them off and he redeems himself. He, sacrifices himself to save Peter and the city. And I really like that story because, as a fan like you of Superior Spider-Man, Doc Ock's not 100% bad. There is some good in there. Sometimes they have to find it, but I just really like that redemption arc where he at the end he can try to save the city and help Peter save everybody, and that was one of my favorite parts. Aside from obviously the train battle, which was just Spider-Man at his best, flipping around, high speed, dodging arms. saving people on the train, and then the guy getting from saying,
Yeah,
"Hey, you
the
got to
train.
go through all of us to get to him." And
That
they don't
train
even care.
scene.
They know he's a kid, but the guys on the train don't even care who he is. Just like put his mask back on. He's Spider-Man.
Well, remember when they're like, "You're gonna have to go through us," and Dr. Octopus was like, "Okay," and just shoved them all out of the way.
Which is what you would expect a supervillain to do.
Yeah.
So, quick question for everybody. As far as so we went down the entire line of all the movies, and we're pretty unanimous on Spider-Man 2 being the number one for our top 10 or top 8 list as of right now. Just to kind of throw a little bonus question out there, who is the best love interest? We have Zendaya, we have Kristen Stewart. Right, I'm sorry, Kristen Dunst.
Kristen Dunst. You're thinking Twilight again.
The other white girl.
Series.
Kristen Dunst, and then we have Emma Stone. So out of those three, who do you guys think is the best love interest?
I think Kirsten Dunst, like the whole "go get him, tiger," you know, like.
So I'm a huge, like, Emma Stone's my favorite actress working today. Like, I love her to death, and I thought she was a perfect Gwen Stacy. I thought so. In my opinion, Gwen Stacy in The Amazing Spider-Man was the best love interest for Parker.
I felt the same way. Well, I said earlier they had just amazing chemistry. Those two, they just played right off each other.
They did.
Yeah.
And I hate to say it too. It's just like Tobey Maguire and Kirsten Dunst felt a little more robotic. It just didn't feel natural.
At times
that,
it did.
That attraction and that whole thing. It's like, I don't know that it was just them acting or the way they wrote the stories. Just like, yeah, but Andrew Garfield and Emma Stone, I think for me were just you felt that connection.
Mm-hmm. I personally think we'll see the most out of Mary Jane and Peter Parker in the new movie that's coming out. I think we'll kind of see them more fleshed out in this one to see where it actually goes. But no, I'm in agreement with you guys. I think we have Emma Stone up here. I think we have Zendaya here until we see more, and then we have Kirsten Dunst right down here. But honestly, I just really thinking about it throughout the entire Sam Raimi trilogy. Kirsten Dunst is Mary Jane. She's really selfish. She's really good, man.
Dude. We rewatched them all last week, and I didn't realize how selfish she was, and how many times she is just like she's like the Princess Peach of this world. She keeps on getting kidnapped, and like Spider-Man has to save her, and it's like what are we like? She's just like put in that position of damsel in distress like every single movie, and by the time I got to the third one, I was just like, I don't care anymore. Like, come on,
he said, "You got kidnapped again?"
Yeah, kidnapped again. just let it go. But yeah, I know she's super selfish, super just kind of. I mean, I kind of get it because she's trying to find herself and figure out what she wants to do. But on the other hand, it's like. Yeah, exactly. I don't, but I mean, with that, all that being said, with my favorite, love interest, I still think they're all really good. Like, I think Zendaya's excellent. I think I'm very curious to see where her story goes. And this whole list, like I said, I'll watch any of these movies anytime. I don't hate any of them completely.
Yeah.
I'll watch them if they're on. I love them to death, or not love them to death, but I love more than others. But yeah, so. These are our list. Did you guys have anything else you guys wanted to add? No?
No.
Cool.
I think we've all come to the conclusion that Spider-Man 2 is the greatest Spider-Man, if not the greatest comic book movie ever,
It is easily by far one of the greats. Well, yeah. So now we have are we doing the giveaway now?
Yeah. I got the wheel ready.
Cool. Yeah, so we're going to go ahead and do a giveaway with the wheel. Jason here is going to go ahead and do that. We'll see who wins today.
Okay, let me see.
Wait, and this is for what is this one for exactly?
First we'll do the Pastrami Nation, right?
Okay, yeah, perfect.
We get the Pastrami Nation combo away, and I got everybody. Let's see. Not a whole lot of people on there, but as you can see,
you see the credit card number and
right there. Everybody that's participated is on that list.
Gotcha.
Nice.
Okay,
Awesome.
and I'm going to spin it now. This is for the Pastrami Nation combo meal. Tiffany. Congratulations, Tiffany. You just won a Pastrami Nation combo. We'll be reaching out to you pretty soon.
Congratulations.
Okay, and then next up, we're giving away 2 of the Webman figures, which are really awesome.
Yeah, those are awesome.
So, yes.
Yeah. Wish I could put my own name on this, but I can't.
I know.
So let's see. There's everybody there. Let's see. Let's give that one a spin for the first one. Blanco. Anthony Blanco. Congratulations. You won the first Webman.
Nice. Congratulations.
Now, there's everyone's name again. This is for Webman number 2.
Sweet.
Pablo. Congratulations,
okay.
Pablo.
I thought it was be Blanco again.
Oh, hey, 2 for 2, I guess.
2 for 2, I was going to say.
So, congratulations on your prizes, guys, and that pretty much wraps up our podcast for tonight.
Nice.
Yeah, thank you everyone for coming on and talking about Spider-Man, man. That was a lot of fun. And remember, leave your messages in the comments if you guys, what are your guys' favorite Spider-Man movies? What are your least favorites? Let us know in the comments.
So real quick before we end out, I don't know if Nolan was going to not message, let everybody know, but I know you guys are doing the local toy drive at Apollo Burgers.
Yes.
So anybody in the local area, in the Apollo High Desert area, if you go to Apollo Burgers, I want to say if you donate a toy, it'll give you a free combo. Is that right, Jason?
No, it's a free burger. I believe it's a free burger.
And it's a toy drive for the kids and for the High Desert and stuff.
And we're also doing our toy giveaway next Tuesday, the 14th at 3 p.m. at Apollo Burger.
Awesome.
So, if you've been in any of the past ones, we give away some pretty decent stuff. Come and join the fun. Great location, good times.
Great food.
Oh, yeah.
All right, cool. So now we just need to
sign off,
guys.
Right?
Yeah, just got to sign off. Thank you guys for watching. And then,
thank you, everyone.
Yes, thank you guys for tuning in.
Yep. Let's see here.